One transfer every Premier League club needs to make in January as Man United priority clear. After spending a record £815 million on transfers last year, Premier League teams will be aiming to bolster their squads for the remaining games of the season during the January transfer window. Premier League clubs will soon be looking to bolster their squads in preparation for the second half of the season, which means the January transfer window will soon open again. Before the market opens on January 1st, division managers are actively evaluating potential transfers and compiling shortlists. After that, they will have a month to finish up before the opportunity to bolster their squads for the remainder of the season expires. As the title competition heats up, the top six are all anticipated to spend heavily over the winter window. Premier League teams broke records by spending £815 million in the January transfer window of the previous year. Mirror Football looks at potential targets for them this time around. Arsenal, Ivan Toney. Even if Arsenal's title challengers the last two seasons have been Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah, it is clear that a reliable goal scorer is required. Ivan Toney appears to be their best choice, despite Brentford's demand that he pay a hefty sum upon his return from his gambling ban. Aston Villa, defense. This season, Unai Emery's Aston Villa team has been amazing, and they appear poised to make a surprise run at the top four. That doesn't mean Emery can't get stronger though, with defense being the area most in need of help given Tyrone Mings' season-long absence. Bournemouth centre-back. After a terrible beginning, Bournemouth has bounced back and is currently sitting just outside the relegation zone. However, given their propensity for giving up goals, the Cherries should put acquiring a new centre defender at the top of their priority list in the January transfer window. Brentford, Asane Diao. In the January transfer window, Brentford intends to prioritize a forward, and their main target is Asane Diao, a winger for Real Betis. He is reportedly considered as Brian Bumo's possible replacement, since larger organizations are reportedly interested in him. Brighton and Hove Albion, left back. Numerous injuries have partly ruined Brighton's season, and Roberto De Zerbi is dealing with an endless string of absences. Due to Pervis Estupiñán's issue, left back is likely the most vulnerable position, with the players who can cover them also having fitness issues. Burnley, Ian Maatsen. Burnley, the Premier League's bottom team, needs a huge spark in January to have any hope of making the playoffs. The Clarets may decide to bring back former Lone Star Ian Maatsen, who turned down a transfer to Turf Moor in the summer but has struggled for opportunities at Chelsea, if they can tighten up at the back. Chelsea, Victor Osimhen. Chelsea, who have seen Nicholas Jackson struggle and Christopher Nkunku sustain a serious injury, are the team most in dire need of a striker. They will probably end up with Victor Osimhen as a result, as the Nigerian has shown his abilities in Serie A with Napoli. Crystal Palace, right back. One team that could use reinforcements all across the pitch is Crystal Palace, but they particularly need a right back. A reliable player is needed because Joel Ward is having trouble, Nathaniel Clyne is past his prime, and Nathan Ferguson is non-existent due to injury. Everton, striker. The loss to Manchester United on Sunday made clear how desperately Everton needs a consistent goalscorer. An alternative frontline option for Dominic Calvert-Lewin would be beneficial for the Toffees, especially considering his history of injuries. The team is in serious danger of relegation following their deduction. Fulham, striker. Since Aleksandar Mitrovic was traded in the summer, Fulham has had difficulty finding a replacement. In 13 games this season, they have managed just 13 goals. In such scenario, Marco Silva's primary priority should be acquiring a new striker because the Cottagers could end up in the relegation zone. Liverpool, central midfielder. Back in the summer, Jurgen Klopp started the long-overdue revamp of Liverpool's midfield. Nevertheless, there is still obviously a need for improvement, as the Red squad is still lacking a defensive midfield specialist as they compete for the championship. Luton Town, defense. This season, Luton has been the Premier League's unexpected gem, but they are still very much in danger of dropping out. Although manager Rob Edwards might not have much money to invest in January, the Hatters will prioritize expanding their defensive. Manchester City, defense. It would be a little over the top to say that Manchester City needs any new players in January. But if they did, their defense would be the most in need of development because Pep Guardiola's team has an open backfield this year. Manchester United, striker. Even though Manchester United spent heavily again this summer, the season has been awful. Erik ten Hag will give priority to signing a striker in the January transfer window since Rasmus Højlund has not lived up to his £72 million price tag and Anthony Martial is not a reliable scorer. Newcastle United, midfield. Eddie Howe's team appears thin on the ground given Sandro Tonali's suspension and the extensive injury list. In particular, Tonali's absence means that fresh blood in the engine room is desperately needed if the Magpies are to press on with their assault into Europe. Nottingham Forest striker. Nottingham Forest's season has been uneventful, and there have been rumours that Steve Cooper is under pressure. Star striker Taiwo Awoniyi's long-term injury could be a catalyst for Forest's comeback, so adding strength up front could help. Sheffield United centre-back. It appears that Sheffield United will be relegated, regardless of what occurs in January. Still, with Paul Heckingbottom's defence having the worst record in the division, a new centre-back has to be the primary priority for the Blades. Tottenham Hotspur forward. At the beginning of the season, Ange Postecoglou's team appeared to be doing very well, but a terrible run of injuries has completely destroyed their campaign. As James Maddison, Richarlison, and Ivan Perisic are all sidelined for extended periods of time, they may prioritize adding additional forward alternatives to their roster. West Ham United striker. Jared Bowen regularly starts ahead of Mikel Antonio, suggesting that West Ham manager David Moyes has already come to terms with the fact that he needs a new striker. That will probably result in a restart in January, and Antonio will certainly need a replacement. Wolverhampton Wanderers striker. Since assuming leadership of Wolves on the eve of the new season, Gary O'Neill has performed marvels. Nevertheless, it is now evident that O'Neill's team needs a striker if they are to win the Premier League this year. Thanks for being with me. For more news updates, please like, share, comment, and subscribe sportsjin. See you in the next video. Take good care of yourself. Bye.